it's time for your weekly Lawyers on Call. This week, Around the Tiers sat down with Coughlin and Gerhart. Take a look.
Today I'm with Avery McLean, an associate at Coughlin and Gerhart. Today we are going to discuss planning for final arrangements. And Avery, when we say final arrangements, what exactly do we mean?
So final arrangements encompass everything that you want to do kind of when you're planning for those end of life type decisions and when you pass away. So this is your methods of disposition. So whether you want to be cremated, buried, if you're going to want to be embalmed, your assignment of your agent to control your disposition of remains, your selection of a mortuary or a funeral home if that's something you want to do ahead of time, prepayment for those types of homes. If you would like your remains to be present at some sort of funeral or service, specific decisions you want at that time, such as do you want flowers there? Is there a specific verse or poem or song that you would like shared? Where you want your final resting place to be, whether that's scattering your ashes somewhere, or if you'd like to be buried, or even if you want to donate your body to science. There's also considerations if you want to have religious or cultural practices observed. It's really anything that is your final wish that you would like someone to follow through on once you're no longer here.
So that sounds like a lot to consider. So can you tell us why is it so important that we plan these final arrangements in advance rather than just leaving it up to loved ones?
So it's important to do all of this in advance, mostly as a way to provide peace of mind, not only for yourself at the time being, but for your family, and to give them that sense of calm, that they don't have any decisions to be made once you're gone, to ease conflict that might arise between family that have different ideas of what they think you would have wanted. It's kind of that last sign of love and compassion that you can leave for your family.
So Avery, as people kind of start this process, what specific documents do they need or what kind of steps should they take to make sure that this is legally recognized?
So in New York State, there's a few key documents and steps that people should be taking. So the first is a disposition to control remains, which is an agent appointment form. There's also potentially setting up pre-need contracts with funeral homes to pay for your funeral. There's also DD 214, which is veterans benefits for burial benefits specifically to get that, an up-to-date will. But the most important thing is to sit down with your family or whoever's going to be making these decisions to make sure that they know what your wishes are.
So Avery, you mentioned appointment of agent to control disposition of remains. So what exactly does that mean? And what does that really entail for us?
So that specific form is something that you can have drafted specifically by a lawyer or even here at our office. And it is where you appoint who you want to actually have control of your remains once you are no longer here. So it's where you're going to say, okay, this is the person that I would like to be in control of these decisions. And the form even has a spot where you can say all those things we talked about at the start of what you want to happen to help guide them through the process. The big thing is it needs to be signed by you as well as two witnesses and dated. And then that form will be held until the time that it's needed, where an agent will need to sign it to say that they're taking that power.
So Avery, thank you so much. But before we go, is there any kind of final pieces of advice you'd like to share?
My final piece of advice is this is a really daunting process. As you kind of mentioned there at the start, there's a lot going on. But here at Coughlin and Gerhart, we're so happy to help people to get through all of this. I specifically work here in Kirkwood as well as our Bainbridge office, but we have attorneys all across upstate New York and in Montrose, Pennsylvania that would love to help get through this process and kind of gives that peace of mind that all the plans are in order.
Okay, Avery, you shared a lot of good information today. I appreciate you speaking with me.
Thank you.
Of course, take care.